back with another video. Got a very special one for you guys today. Put a lot of work into this video, so I really hope that you guys can get some value out of this, maybe learn a thing or two. But just a little background before I get into the rankings. I have researched Clav extensively, as he has had this recent rise to fame, and he's known for looks maxing. So with him being the #1 looks maxer, I want to go a little bit deeper into his protocol, figure out the things that he really vouches for, and rank them so you guys can know if what he's saying is actually good. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So let's start with the most controversial one, bone smashing. And bone smashing is going to go into D tier. And this could be a surprise for some people, or maybe not, but this is kind of what he's known for. I think he's just known for this because it gets the most attention. It sounds crazy. You're hitting yourself in the face with a hammer, and it is kind of crazy. But I bet you would have thought, oh, well, if it's this crazy, maybe it would work. Well, that's not necessarily the case. So the argument is that it's due to Wolff's law, that if you hit a bone, it's going to grow back stronger. And this is partially true. You can see that in UFC fighters, and that's the argument that a lot of these looks maxers will make is, look at UFC fighters. They get punched in the face and they're fine. But there's two sides to that story, because yes, UFC fighters do on average have more developed facial features. But if you think about it, these are the UFC fighters. They're the best at their class. So is it that they've been doing MMA all their life and getting hit in the face? Or has it sort of been natural selection that has risen them to the top because of their elite genetics? So you kind of have to think of both, and it is due to both. There's going to be nuance here. But the thing with bone smashing is the reason it's not an F tier is because it will give you a slight pump, so it can be a little bit more prominent if you're going out and you want like your certain bones to be facial projected, but it's not going to be a big difference maker. It's going to be very redundant. It's going to take a lot of time. You can hurt yourself. It's most likely going to be uneven. So that's why it's going to be in D tier. There's a lot more things that you can do. Like at that point, just get surgery or something. But yeah, I'm putting it in D tier. I haven't tried it. Maybe I'm missing out, but that's just from the research that I've done. I've looked at both sides, the people who are really against it, the people who are really for it, and that's sort of the conclusion that I've made. Next up, we're going to talk about sunscreen. And as you guys know, sunscreen is going straight into S tier. This is probably the #1 thing that you can do for anti-aging. It's going to help you look good into your later years. It's going to protect your collagen, your youthfulness, and everyone should be wearing sunscreen. I think everyone knows to that point. It's not really, it's not really a surprise that this is an S tier. The next thing we're going to talk about is retatrutide, and I'm going to put retatrutide in S tier. And this isn't me telling you guys to go take retatrutide. This is not medical advice, but as in terms of things that are going to move the needle the most really quickly for the average person, retatrutide is going to make you lean, which is sort of the #1 thing that you can do for your looks. It's the first thing that everyone should do before they try anything else. And retatrutide is going to do a fantastic job at this. It's a GLP-1 agonist. It also hits the glucagon receptor and one more that I don't know off the top of my head. It works. You're going to lose weight on this. So it's not the retatrutide that is necessarily why you're going to look good, or I guess it's sort of a side effect of it, but it's just going to help you lose weight, put you in a calorie deficit, which will in turn help you lose weight, which will make you look better. And I'm just putting it up here because it works. I don't recommend you do it. I'm not a medical advisor. Obviously speak to your doctor. I don't recommend you do any of this, but yeah, that's going to go in S tier. And the next thing we're going to do, and this is something that I was actually surprised with that works so well for me, and that is going to be pre-workout carbs. And this is going to go into A tier. And this surprised me a lot because for the longest time, I avoided carbs like it was the plague. I thought that they were going to make me bloated. There's no use for them. I didn't need them, and I just wanted to be super lean. And to an extent, I was right. Like, you're a little bit less bloated. You do look a little bit more lean. But as soon as I started incorporating carbs into my diet more, especially pre-workout, my lifts went up, I started to fill up my physique, I looked fuller, and I just had such a big difference in my energy levels as well. So if you haven't experimented with getting carbs and you've been avoiding carbs like I did for so long, I recommend that you just try it for a week. And I don't mean go shove your face with sugar. I mean eat good carbs from good sources like rice, potatoes, fruit, vegetables, and see how you feel. And this was one of the biggest difference makers that took me so long to realize. So just give it a shot. If you don't like it, go back to your ketogenesis diet. But this was such a big difference maker for me. The next thing we're going to go over is TRT. And I'm going to put TRT in A tier. And by TRT, I mean testosterone. Obviously supervised by a medical professional over the age of 20 or whatever the age is. This is going to go in A tier. And the reason for this is because it's going to allow you to put on more muscle mass, fill out your frame. You're going to get cognitive benefits from it. If you use it in your puberty years, you're going to develop further. And I'm not condoning any of this. And this could actually be F tier if you use this and you have a below average IQ, because you could mess yourself up, get horrible, irreversible side effects like hair loss, gyno, acne. You can mess up your endocrine system for life. There's so many things that can go wrong if you don't do your due diligence. So this is specifically for the case that you know what you're doing and you've done your research and you're above the age of 20, you get your blood work done. This is something that you can really leverage. And if you leverage it right, then it can be great. The next thing I'm going to touch on is Anavar. And this is also a steroid, and I'm also not saying that you should do this, but I'm going to put this into C tier. So Anavar is a DHT derivative steroid. It's the oral steroid, and you're going to want to use it in conjunction with testosterone. And from the research I did, Anavar is pretty liver toxic, so you are going to be damaging your health. It is quite anabolic, so you will get additional gains, and it is a DHT derivative, so you have extra chance of hair loss. So it's just going to help in conjunction with the testosterone to put on a little bit more size. But again, you can really mess yourself up with this stuff. Don't do this stuff. This is purely for entertainment purposes only, but for that reason I'm going to put it in C tier. The next thing we're gonna go over is pregabalin and baclofen, and I'm gonna put this in A tier. So pregabalin and baclofen are GABA A and GABA B agonists. These hit similar receptors to the receptors that alcohol hits. So the reason I'm putting it into A tier is because you can substitute alcohol for this. Again, not medical advice. Consult with your doctor and then all that good stuff. But the reason I'm putting it into A tier is because you can supplement this stuff rather than using alcohol, and it's going to be a lot less harmful to your growth pathways, to your skin, to your looks in general. There's going to be less calories. So you kind of get a lot of the good effects of alcohol without the harmful things that affect your growth pathways and make you consume excess calories. So the reason it's not an S tier though is there's some nuance here like always. Pregabalin and baclofen can be very addictive, so you don't want to be using this stuff more than once a week. You can take too much, so you have to be very careful with your dosing, because it's not like alcohol where if you take too much you're going to barf it out. So you need to be safer with this, really do your research, really know what you're doing. It's also going to be quite addictive, and you can build your tolerance up really quickly, so that's another reason why you only want to take it once a week. But yeah, this stuff, if used right, can be a great substitute for alcohol. The next thing we're going to talk about is oral minoxidil, and this is going to go into B tier. So what oral minoxidil is going to do is just going to promote hair growth in your scalp, in your eyebrows, in your eyelashes, and anywhere where you grow hair on your body. And the reason that Clav recommends this is to grow your eyebrows and your eyelashes. And this will work in some individuals. Some people it won't work as well. The reason it's going in B tier is because it will help if you have really bad eyebrows and eyelashes, but it's not going to necessarily change the way you look. It's just a small thing that can help improve your looks, and it's also going to add hair in other places, which could be annoying. So you might have to shave more. In some people, it causes bloatedness, which will not help your looks. So there's some nuance there, and that's why I'm putting it into B tier. Next up, we've got dutasteride. And this is going to be situation dependent, but for the most part, I'll put it in A tier. And what dutasteride is the DHT blocker. And DHT is the main driver for male pattern baldness. So DHT or dutasteride is going to stop the conversion from testosterone into DHT. In doing so, will prevent hair loss. It's not going to grow your hair back, but if you're in the process of losing your hair, this will most likely stop it or at least slow it down. So that's why it's going in A tier. It does come with its side effects, so look into it. Figure out if you're prone to baldness. You don't want to be taking this stuff because there is side effects. You only want to take it if you know you're prone to hair loss, and you want to be done developing when you take this stuff, because DHT is also what helps you develop. So if you just nuke your DHT and you're not done developing, you could impair that process. So make sure you're done developing and don't just take this stuff just cause. Make sure that you have a reason to be taking it. Next up, we've got makeup. And I'm gonna put this in C tier. So there's a lot of nuance with makeup. I don't actually know the exact makeup that he uses. I think he does concealer. He'll use a waterline pen. Honestly, I didn't really research his makeup stuff, but to be honest, I haven't really experimented with makeup, but I'm just putting it in C tier because, yes, it probably could improve your looks, in a club or a bar setting and maybe help you in that way. But if you're going with close friends and you get caught, this could really kind of mess you up, lower your chances of whatever you're trying to get out from the makeup. You're gonna be, if you're trying to get respected more from your looks or get more girls, you're gonna have less respect and you're gonna get less girls. So it could help. Just don't overdo it, and know what you're doing. Honestly, I'm gonna put this into D tier because I don't know. People could argue this, but I just don't think that it's honestly worth it. Maybe a little bit of concealer you could do, but anything more than that, in my opinion, I don't think would be worth the risks. Unless you're maybe going out across the country and that might be the only thing. And that's also going to be the same thing with this, shoulder pads. I'm also going to put this in D tier. This is another form of frauding, just like makeup. It's when you put things on your shoulder pads to fraud the appearance of being bigger than you are. Again, this could maybe create the illusion if you're going bars or clubbing, another area, but if you get caught with this one, you'd really be cooked. And I haven't tried, but I feel like it would be pretty obvious if someone has something in their shoulders, unless they're maybe wearing like a hoodie or something bigger than that. But again, there maybe is a situation for this, but I do not recommend. Next up, we've got another peptide, melanotan 2. And this is going to go into B tier because, again, this is going to be situation dependent. It's going to depend on your phenotype, if you look gooder with it, if you look better with a tan versus if you look better being pale. But yeah, for a lot of people, you are going to look better with a tan. And if you struggle with getting a tan, this is a tool that you can leverage to help. And it's also going to allow you to get less UV exposure over time because it increases the melanocytes in your skin so that you're able to get a tan easier. And we all know that UV exposure is what leads to skin damage and aging. So melanotan will allow you to be in the sun for less time, which will be great for anti-aging. There's also benefits when it comes to slightly suppressing your appetite. So that's another positive of it. But obviously it comes with its side effects. So do your own research, make your own decisions. Again, this is for entertainment purposes only. But yeah, that's why it's going into B tier. It can help some people, but it's not going to be the answer for everyone. The next thing we're going to talk about is another peptide, and this is injectable L-glutathione. And this is going to go into A tier. Yeah, what injectable L-glutathione is it's essentially just an antioxidant. It's actually the body's strongest antioxidant. So this is especially going to be helpful if you're being a little bit of a degenerate, you want to go drinking a lot, maybe go on a bender. A lot of people claim that if they take this before they go out, they don't get hungover in the morning. And a lot of people on PEDs will use this to preserve a healthy look. It's overall one of the best things that you can do for your health. I have heard that when taking it, it can be quite painful, so that's a bit of a downside, and it is a little bit expensive, but glutathione is the way of the future. It's going to become a lot more common, I believe, and I think it's one of the best, most underrated peptides. The last thing we're going to talk about is Clav's infamous double jaw surgery, and this is going to go into C tier. And I haven't necessarily researched the double jaw surgery a lot, but essentially what it is the MdubMax. It's just going to pull your whole face forward, and this is just going to be so case dependent. Some people may have not developed right and need this, and for some people it's not going to do anything and could honestly serve to detriment to you. It's also a very invasive surgery. It's very expensive. I don't recommend this to the average, but if you work with a professional, there can be a lot of medical reasons for this. Like if you have trouble breathing, then you can be a good candidate for a MdubMax. But this needs to be in conjunction with orthodontics fixing malocclusions. So you should combine with something like braces and just any orthodontic intervention. Obviously, I'm not an expert on this stuff, so you're gonna go and do your own research. But there can be useful scenarios for this, not even just for looks, but just for general well-being. And that is going to conclude the tier list. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. These were all the protocols that I could find that Clav promotes. So I did spend a lot of time finding all this and researching these things. So I'd appreciate it if you guys could leave a like on the video. If you enjoyed or got some value, maybe even subscribe, and leave a comment if you have any questions or video suggestions. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you.